Okay, November 2nd of 2023. Is this even recording? Hold on a minute. Oh, I think it is. Alright, do you see these? You know what that is? Those are plates that I used to use when I worked on the foundation with 40 to 60 kids at one time in a courtyard, promoting a universal school meal program, lunch program, snack program, whatever. You can see, it's a lot of plates there. And I have some more, but I left them in the box, plus I've got these ones. Right? And who are the children, people? Well, it was the poorest courtyard in all of Surrey. When I rented the apartment, I didn't know that at the time. I just knew that I needed to be someplace where I could work on the foundation, reach out into the local community. In this case, it was a complex, an apartment complex that had 133 suites, 4 stories, walk up, with families in them. I didn't ask what kind of families, where they came from. I just, whatever, right? So I moved in there, started working on the foundation. It turned out a lot of these families, they came from Lebanon, Tobago, Sudan, Tanzania. There was a couple of other Muslim countries like Afghanistan, places like that, right? It was all immigrants that basically came in as refugees. Seriously. Whole families. One family came from Tanzania, out in the desert, under the sun, from a tent. I think something like 5 or 6 kids with a dad and a mom, and all they got for a week to eat was a jug of sour milk and maybe a few handfuls of rice or something like that. Anyway, I lived there for 3.5 years, people. I managed to secure the trademark, Canada and United States of America. But you see, our politicians, the people that control the economy with that organized religion and just the whole 9 yards, they don't want stuff like that. Because ultimately, there's sacrificial lambs within that group that I just talked about, with my children in that mix. ShaMay illegally harvested for her organs, murdered, cops covered up. Ciera had her organs illegally harvested after she was lured to her death, as cops covered up that one too, right? Anyway, and then here's raffle tickets, you can see, because I did park events and did all kinds of stuff, people. So now we're going to fast forward to November of 2023. It turns out little Alea May is in public school now because Tisha and Alex couldn't really afford the fee for having Alea May enrolled in a Catholic school at $600 a month because she wasn't Catholic. And that's not to say that these Catholic schools aren't pushing this soji, transgender, he, she, it, they, them, whatever it is they're doing in public schools now. They're also doing it in Catholic schools, especially in the higher grades, where if boys want to go into a girl's washroom because they identify as a girl, they can do that. And then for the boys that stand up and speak out against that, they get expelled. So either or, you know. But point is, little Alea May, she's in public school in kindergarten, people. So you're looking at 15 to 18 kids per class because it's kindergarten. Okay? And do you know what's in her class in terms of kids and the ethnic group? There's little May, who's namely black, because of Alex and Tisha, with a little bit of white mixed in because of me, right? Apparently there's one little black boy. That's it. And one little white girl. While the white girl is picking on Alea May, teasing Alea May from day to day. One day she says, I'll be your friend. Next day she tells Alea May she doesn't want to be her friend. And this has been going back and forth ever since school started. And it's really upsetting a little Alea May, because the rest of the kids, people, are brown people, which means Punjabis and anyone like them. To which it goes to the default of, it's like my landlady said, like she told me, we don't let our little girls talk to boys. Because when we were sitting out in the front steps and my Syrian neighbors moved in, all right, there was a little girl, two little girls running around out in the yard. And Andre was young, right? He wanted to go play with them, or at least say hi across the fence. And my landlady told him not to do it because those parents, who she, I guess, assumed were Punjabis, wouldn't allow those little girls to talk to little boys. And I asked her, why is she saying that? And she just basically said, that's what we do. Our kids grow up to be doctors, Dr. Barr, who illegally harvests organs from dead bodies that cops cover up murder with. Okay, because he was a Punjabi with his turban on, people. Just saying. They're lawyers who don't stand up for fucking justice, because some of these people that are lawyers within her ethnic culture are waiting for the organs and will pay for them if necessary. So why would they want to take it to court and fight for ShaMay? They wouldn't. And then teachers. Those were the three groups. Well, what are you teaching your kids? Because Alea May is 5 years old. She's in kindergarten. And she only has the choice of two friends, where one is already starting to pick on her because apparently this little white girl has got a really bad, snotty, snitty little attitude, because Tisha went to school, did a little fair there, and was dealing with the kids. You know how kids, and they have their teachers set up a little, they had little, like they were doing little, like throwing a bean bag into a bucket, right? And so they had different sections. Well, at one point, Tisha got the section with the little white girl and the little black girl with little Leah May and the other little brown kids, and she got to see exactly how this little white girl was, and was completely rude to Tisha, was stubborn, wouldn't listen, right? Clearly the girl is frustrated before she even starts in kindergarten, right? Because the rest of the brown kids, people, and I told Tisha, I already been there. I've done this with you guys. I had 5 kids, people. They were all in school at one point or another. Okay? They don't socialize. They don't, people. By the time ShaMay got into high school on her own accord, because she was a brainiac, by grade 12, she was working with the teacher to grade the class written reports, because it was an English class, right? To which the majority, again, if like we're talking like 90% or more of Punjabis and related ethnic, like Hindu, and maybe a few Muslims in there, brown Muslims, that is. Not the refugee ones, but yeah, some of them too. The ones like the Syrians, right? Because, they can almost pass, like, to be Punjabi. Not quite, because their dress is slightly different. Slightly. But even my landlady was fooled. She thought it was Punjabis that moved in next door, when in fact it was Muslims from Syria. And she told my grandson, Andre, a little boy, not to talk to the little girls because he wasn't allowed, and those parents wouldn't allow it, so just don't even ask. And I'm like, wow, great. Why, Mrs. Gill? Why you say that to me? Oh, well, because our kids are trained to grow up to be doctors, lawyers, and teachers. So therefore, we don't let them intermingle with each other, boy, girl, and also race. But she avoided to say race. And that's why a little May only has 2 friends in a classroom full of Punjabis, Hindus, and Muslims. One little black boy and one little white girl that already has behavioral problems because she herself is probably feeling really frustrated in that classroom while everybody else sticks together. And then we wonder why our kids, families like mine, grow up and then be targeted people for their body parts. Okay, why we're mistreated within the housing market and those type medical fucking hospitals, and you can't even get medication in a timely manner, right? Because somebody's fucking around in the back room with it, providing 1/4 of a bottle, and then saying you have to pay another $250 because you already got your quota. Yeah, okay. Whatever. So anyway, ShaMay was helping the teacher mark these papers because she was a brainiac and she was at the top of her class. And she came back and she told me something like 75-80% of those kids couldn't even write a fucking paragraph, and they were in grade 12, people. But they were still being passed. There's your doctors, there's your lawyers, there's your teachers. And what happened to ShaMay? She was targeted for her body parts because she didn't fucking fit in. Okay, October 27th of 2023. I got Amari's medicine. I'll show you in a little bit. But before I do that, look what I'm trying to do here. Ferment some cucumbers, only I don't think I have enough. So I'm just going to throw in a bit of carrots.